My last bartending job came with a set of peculiar rules with grave consequences. I dropped out of my freshman year of college when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. I had just turned 19, and although I was legally an adult, I had no idea what I was doing. I felt like a failure for dropping out, but I focused on being a parent and worked nights as a server and eventually a bartender. Everything was about as okay as it could be until shifts became more and more scarce at the restaurant I was working at. I desperately wanted more money to care for myself and my daughter, and I wanted it much faster than it would have taken to finish my degree. Anyways, I knew that bartenders made significantly more money in the city, so I started looking for job postings online. Ultimately, though, my searches were fruitless. I ended up being reached out to by a friend named Maurice that had worked at the restaurant briefly before he was recruited by another friend to work at some bar in the city. I trusted his judgment, so I agreed to come interview for the position. The people here are rich, Kel, filthy rich, but they're assholes. You're gonna need to have thick skin. I didn't mind. I was thrilled. I showed up for my interview on a Thursday night in September. I remember viscerally feeling the stark contrast between the bustling city life and the bleak, faceless building. No windows, no name. 6 stairs led down to a solid black door that I half-heartedly trusted to be the entrance to my new job. The place was beautiful. Warm, dim lighting, softly illuminated black marble high-top tables. Most of the tables were empty, but it was a Thursday after all. A couple were occupied with well-dressed women that looked to be in their 40s. One looked at me up and down with a condescending smile. I peered down at my own clothing, tugging slightly on the hem of my blouse. A man came walking briskly towards me from what seemed to be the kitchen. He was short with jet black hair that seemed to be intentionally oily. "Kelly?" he asked, offering his hand. He introduced himself as Craig and walked me to a table near the back. It was made clear that the job was already mine, and I was so grateful to Maurice in that moment for speaking well of me. Craig made copies of my ID and had me fill out some standard paperwork. "Now, Kelly, honey, I don't know how much Maurice told you about our little spot. The nature of the work here is unique." I nodded my head, noticing Maurice out of the corner of my eye, standing behind the bar. He looked stressed. "Yes, sir, he's told me some," I responded, aiming to look interested and focused. "Our clientele is very affluent. They expect stellar service. They come to our place here not just for food and drinks, but for entertainment. Most of them are also very private," he said, looking down and shuffling through papers. "I understand. If you choose to accept the position, you'll be signing a non-disclosure agreement. Nothing crazy. Some of our customers have very high-ranking positions in the community and would rather the details of their leisure not be shared." I have to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by this part. I also had no experience in the place of this caliber, so I kept my mouth shut and nodded in agreement. "Maurice will train you behind the bar and brief you on the rules." "Great. One last thing. Assuming you'll accept our offer, your employment will be contingent upon a reasonable score on our aptitude test. It'll take you maybe 15 minutes. You'll receive a link in your email." I agreed, shook Craig's hand, and he sent me behind the bar with Maurice. I was admittedly pretty excited to see Maurice. I always considered him a good friend, but he seemed distracted and tense. I attributed it to the stress of the job. Maurice began by showing me around the bar and going through the details of the drink menu. I listened intently and waited for the email with the link to pop up. Eventually, my phone dinged. "Is that the test?" "Yeah, but we can finish up here." "Just take it now," he said quickly, vigorously shining champagne glasses. I pulled up a stool and opened the link. The first half or so of the